Welcome to your fairy blessings. Guys, oh my God, I got my tumor removed. I'm finally back to bring you your fairy blessings. This month, I am solely doing just a fae, no dragon fae cards today. My guides didn't really want that. They wanted this. Also, just to let y'all know, I already posted a full moon reading in Pisces down below in the description box. It actually is on my Keen link. So it's going to be my Keen link because I actually do work for Keen as a real like psychic medium on there, but I normally don't share it. But I'm kind of been guided in that direction to just post my video content there lately. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of new for me. I love how I'm getting into this newness. And I don't know if you've been experiencing it too. Most likely you have, with the moon kind of starting to go in your favor. But yeah, I've been experiencing like a lot of newness right before the retrograde, which is good, but it's like, oh, now I got the retrograde to do my research and figure it out. Fun times. So I did do that. Also, I have a Mercury retrograde video. It's Mercury retrograde best practices video. It is down in the description box below. And it's basically going to go over the ins and outs of Mercury retrograde, who rules it, what it does. It's a whole thing. Also what it's going to look like, how it's going to affect you, how it's going to affect Virgo, because Virgo is also your seventh house of partnerships. So it's actually going to jointly affect you both. And if you are a Virgo with a Pisces moon, I am just going to go ahead and tell you, I actually created content solely for Virgos. So I did a solely Virgo full moon reading and how that Pisces moon was going to affect them. And it's very different than the collective reading where I did all of the signs and just going over the full moon itself. Excuse me. So if you are a Virgo sun with a Pisces moon, definitely check that out. Or even if you're just a Pisces sun, moon, or rising, definitely check out that Pisces full moon. And if you have other planetary placements in Virgo and you are a Pisces, and I'm talking important placements like 6th house, 12th house, 11th house is kind of like how we're socially seen. So that's like a yes and no for me. 8th house, definitely important. 5th house, definitely important. 4th house, how we connect to our mom, all that kind of stuff. If it is anywhere in Virgo or you have an important planetary placement, like you got a stellium, you got 3 or more planets, you got the moon, you've got Venus. Okay, check those videos out because they're on Keen, they're pay to view. But I also did Romance Angels Oracle for you guys. That is also on there. Now that's general for everybody. And I even did, like I said, the Mercury retrograde best practices. And lastly, I also featured content that I'm showing you guys in terms of the decks that I'm using. For next month. And I will be taking readings with these. So if you want to sign up on Keen and do the 3 minute reading with me, that link is down in the description box below. You can do a chat or call. And what you'll do is you'll ask me about whatever deck you want to use, just be specific. Or you can get a pay to view video link with me. So basically, I'll record a video like this. You'll just buy the link and then you'll have access to the video. So and you can use these decks. And this is what I'm using for October. I'm really thrilled to be using these. So definitely check that out. Oh, and I did a general reading for the collective for, oh man, it's been a crazy reading week for September. So, okay, Pisces, I already pre-shuffled these too, by the way. I just want to get one more good one. Show me, please, my beautiful Sealy Court. What is coming through for Pisces blessings for the month of September 2022? Whoa, that was a lot. Oh, okay. I love this card. I'm going to talk about it in just a second. Okay, and last one. Sorry if I seem a little like high on energy. I don't know if it's just me because I did work out. Ooh, that is the Pisces card in this deck for me. Okay. So Pisces, here's what we've got. We've got a blessing of the butterfly queen. Now, I actually love this card. This card is very Scorpio in terms of like the transformation. You know how Scorpio is always known to be transformative and, but they always bring death with them in terms of the other side. And there's always that like strange kind of transformative energy where everything is in stasis or metamorphosis. And so it's like almost stagnant, but not really because it is moving slowly. So this card is the card of the blessing of the butterfly queen. And when I first pulled this card, I pulled it 3 times in the spring before I actually had my surgery, like in a personal read. And the like this card came up 3 times in like 2 months, and I was like, okay, okay, fine, I hear you. I don't see how I'm transforming, but you came out 3 times, so okay, I hear you. And how this card works, it's very, I would say it's more or less it's interesting how it comes about, this energy and this blessing in particular, because since everything is always fluid, it technically and always transforming and changing through time, down here in this realm, technically we're always in a constant state of change. But this card, and this is the thing, we don't really see that. We see changes over time. We don't see them immediately. This card, you see changes immediately, drastically, completely. And also, this butterfly queen comes in when you are ready to transform. You've actually kind of been well past the point of ready, to be honest, Pisces. You're like, I'm here, I'm ready to go. Let's do this now because I'm in the energy. And with Neptune retrograde, it doesn't necessarily surprise me that you're ready for this because once Neptune goes direct, you're back into the water and you're back into the dreams and mystery a little bit and being a part of spirit in the collective. And so right now, you're really integrating the parts of you that are always like, I feel deep down within you. You're integrating them now into your everyday life and world. So when Neptune does go direct, they can stay out there with you because it's a newfound piece of yourself, is kind of how I think of it, right? But when this card comes out, it's like, oh my God, everything that you've been wanting to change changes in the blink of an eye. And it's almost crazy how it starts off. It goes very slow. And this card came up literally like, this is a personal story. So I will tell you this. When I pulled this card, the third time I pulled it, I was like, okay, change. What change? Because I had heard it for like the third time in 2 months. And I was like, not that I don't believe you, beautiful butterfly queen. But then I started to notice like I glowed up without even really glowing up. People were telling me, "Oh my God, you are so gorgeous." And I was wearing little to no makeup. Like everything from the inside out was starting to shine through. And the butterfly queen, her energy started to really take hold, but how not just physical, like this isn't just physical looks. It's basically like she enhances the looks and the beauty within you that you already have that is just ready to come out and be shared. But it goes beyond that because how this happened and these changes will take place over the next several months, I deeply suspect. Just because when I pulled this card, the changes that she mentioned, I mean, I thought it was going to be 3 changes, and it's been at my life since this card has been pulled has changed from all the way from the end, from the tip top of May last retrograde to the one we're going into right now again. It's been constant change since everything. At first, there was a little bit of stasis, but it did come about through a change. So that is the strange part because when I did pull this card, Pisces, I actually pulled it at a time where I didn't know about the non-malignant tumor. I knew I had an underlying medical issue that might be, but I didn't have anything that would actually confirm it. So when I pulled this, the very next day, I started getting like all of these pelvic pains and, like just, like I felt like somebody was like trying to rip my insides out. And finally, I mean, I had gone to my family, like, I need help. I need this for years. And finally, I just said, that's it. I'm calling the hospital and I'm going to see what they say. And to hell with the bill, I'll figure it out. Like when I started to take that level of responsibility instead of going to people who I knew wouldn't help me, it brought about the change that I actually needed. And then the crazy part was the hospital was like, before you come, call your OB, get an ultrasound. And I couldn't get into an OB until the following day. And they were like, okay, and I was like, but I don't have any, they're like, we'll work it out. I'm like, oh, okay. And turns out they did a payment plan with me. But the ironic part was finally my parents are like, well, what's going on? After all of this time that I've had these pains and have told them, and they didn't do anything to help. They would hinder my money flow, which is why sometimes I can't connect with y'all. They would block the internet, or their provider would block the calls. And then their provider changed the format on calls. It was a whole mess, and it was just so crazy how I kept centering around that, right? And so finally that got fixed literally last week. One of my parents was like, oh, here's how we fix this. And I was like, thanks. Cause I go to the store and they're like, it's in the provider's hands, the person, cause I'm on a family plan. So I'm like, okay, great. So they fixed that. That changed. Like all of these things changed. And then, going into the visit with the doctor on the non-malignant tumor, that changed things too. Changed my energy, changed my activity. But basically, pulling this card isn't just one change and that's it. It's almost like every change that happens is simultaneously interconnected to the blockages in your life, is the best way I could put it. Because now it's like, oh, I'm able to record these videos. Oh, I'm able to share them with y'all. Oh, here are the links. Here's this. Oh, it's like really starting to put into place. But I also did the work, and I also laid down the foundation spiritually when I was ready for these changes. And I was like, okay, am I ready for this to change? And I would ask myself yes or no, because the change is going to come regardless. If it's one thing I know about change, it is ever constant and ever present. And, it comes for all of us. And so I have to be either ready, or I have to admit I'm not ready and make a plan, because that's the only way you're ever going to become ready. Or, be a survivor and fly by the seat of your pants. One of the two, it'll work. But for Scorpios in particular, we have to plan. Pisceans are way more flexible. uh you guys can fly by the seat of your pants and probably make it work. But if you are not right now able to do that, go into your Virgo aspects. That will help you definitely with this card, because these changes, like I said, they're going to be taking place all the way from now, most likely till the new year, most likely, if not a little bit more. So the other card that I do have here is a blessing of fairy magic. Oh, this is one of my favorite cards to get, because this to me is the epitome of a Pisces full moon. This is where you can get deep in touch with your spirituality. And not only that, but if you really want to connect to the Fae in positive ways, definitely reach out to Goddess Freya. She's a fairy goddess. She can help if you want to bring a connection to them and foster a positive one. Don't just reach out to the Fae if you've never done it before, and reach out to them and kind of just let things be, because the Fae aren't like everybody else. There's a big kind of there's a big stigma with working with the Fae, but the truth is you have to know how to work with them. They're not just like a deity or an angel that you can just roll up and be like, yo man, I need this. They're like, whoa, that isn't how we flow here. You need to respect, show me some respect. Okay. They're like us in terms of you have to want to show them respect and give reciprocity. You also have to, in order to tap into this blessing, I definitely recommend working with the goddess Freya, especially if you're new to fairies, if you're wanting to foster a fairy magic foundation. She's the safest option. Personally, I can tell you this in personal experience, because, or maybe even like, no, she's a more positive. I would say do dragons too, but dragons sometimes, most dragons are positive, and the negative ones, they have interesting insights and wisdoms. But if you're not used to them, that's why I'm saying stick with Goddess Freya. She knows what she's doing in terms of helping with the Fae. Also, if you want to connect to the Fae and their magic, look up herbs and flowers that are associated with them. Lilac is one for Venus, but I know they love lilac. They love violets. They love lily of the valley. I actually have a perfume with lily of the valley in it, and man, have I felt them around me a lot more. But it also, like, it has night blooming jasmine, so it's like got this kind of like powdery smell. It smells so good. But also, sorry, that's our timer, but I'm gonna go a little bit over. But the thing is this is important because no matter how you connect to them, whether it's through plants, herbs, you know, fairy magic in of itself, or connecting with the goddess Freya, primrose, evening primrose is a perfect fairy offering if you want to work with Freya, by the way, because that is a night blooming plant that blooms at nighttime and is associated with the fae. Also Iris, actually, the messenger goddess, sometimes she is associated with the fae, according to some texts. I assume it's because of the rainbow, because she delivers messages and she goes over the rainbow. The rainbow is a part of her, and also it is a connection to the higher spiritual realms, which the fae court that I work with, which is the Seelie court, is the court of the beautiful, you know, kind of ethereal, loving fae. They are the ones that I work with, and I think they kind of actually work through that the rainbow rays. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, but I know sometimes they do connect with Iris, and it's also because her wings were rainbow too. So her wings, she had a sister, and her sister's wings were given to Hermes, to put on his ankles after the fall of the Titans. Just FYI, a lot of people don't know that, but you're talking to an art historian, classics minor here. So yeah. Anyway, the importance though of this card is it's not just intuition, because intuition is heightened right now with the moon in your sign Pisces, but it's also about intention. I always tell every single person who comes to me asking me for certain things that I cannot say, I always say, what is your true intention? Where are you coming from? Are you coming from control and dominance, or are you coming from free will? Once you figure that out, then you can actually figure out the fundamental real intention before you use this Fey magic blessing. But the positive of this is you're going to see so many benefits in your life. Like they'll help you with resources in terms of actually resources from Gaia. Sometimes they'll, this is kind of weird how they'll help, but for me, whenever I'm low on gas and I know I need to go somewhere, somehow it always ends up lasting me. So I never run out on empty. Somehow, even if I know I'm way further than normally how the gas would go, it always ends up going that way. They somehow extend it if I ask them. I don't quite know how. Or they'll bring me like random things like coins, you know, when inflation was going up. I was like, yo, guys, like inflation is here. Can y'all please help? I started finding little coins everywhere. Oh, if you want to give an offering, you can give them shinies. They love anything gold or silver, or you can give them milk and honey. They love that. I put a little touch of cinnamon in mine because they know I'm spice for life. But the interesting part is you can really connect Pisces with both of these transformative energies, this one in particular, and then the magic, and really bring it's like a powder keg of boom, like just proof in the pudding of changes and true manifestations at the height of the full moon. I would definitely suggest, but definitely check out your readings. And if you want to get a personal reading with me, you may do so on Keen down in the description box below. I will talk to y'all next month. Have a fantastic full moon. I love you so much. Bye, Pisces.